Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of NFL Dynasty Madness. I'm one of your hosts, Chris, along with hosts Eddie, Phil, Alex, and Rogers. Joe was unable to make it today, however, I'll be going over his picks. Let's start by talking what happened last week. The aforementioned Joe won last week with 13 wins, tied, mind you, with Phil, who also got that lucky number 13, followed by me with 12, Rogers at 11, Eddie with 8, and Alex came in dead last with 7. That takes us to the cumulative total, which Joel is leading with 30. Myself and Phil are tied with 28. Alex is at 22, and pulling up the rear, who's down a week, though, is 20, and he's only 2 below Alex, who has a week. You heard it here first. Alex is the bum. So,
he's dead last.
Let me tell you something. Last week was a spectacular week where you're down to 3 undefeated teams, which we'll talk about a little bit later. This week is going to have a very good implications of where other teams are going as far as the playoffs. We're getting into the quarter season with week 4, and we're going to start off by talking about the Green Bay Packers versus the Chicago Bears. Alex, how do you think this is going to happen?
This is going to be a good game. Good. Hold on. Packers are going to win this simply because the Bears have no defense. Their defense just sucks. Aaron Rodgers is going to have a field day out there. A. Lacy hopefully has a good game too. I'm going with Green Bay on this one.
Eddie, what you got?
I would like to go with Chicago, even though I agree with what Alex said. Chicago does not have that good of a defense, and Aaron Rodgers is not that type of quarterback to have back-to-back bad games. Eddie Lacy cannot be fumbling the ball the way he did, but I think he's going to step up his game this week, so I'm going to go with Green Bay.
I'm going to go with Green Bay as well. Prior to the season start, I think this would have been a more exciting game, but after seeing how both of these teams have been going through the year, it doesn't have the bite that you would expect from an NFC North game with them. Between the injuries, Aaron Rodgers kind of looking mortal, Eddie Lacy's turnover issues, and just the injuries that are on Chicago's offense, it's not as exciting as I thought it was going to be, but I am going to go with Green Bay.
All right. I'm going to be the odd man out, and I'm going to go with the Bears simply because they're at home. Packers have a very good chance of taking over this one. However, Chicago's shown me something that they can actually stay in a game. And Green Bay has, lost that je ne sais quoi, so to speak, that some of us have and some of us don't. Right now, the Packers don't. The Bears have it a little bit. They'll be a contender for the playoffs. So, since they're at home, and that's really the main reason I'm picking them, I'm going to go with Chicago to win Soldier Field.
I picked the Green Bay Packers because Aaron Rodgers deserves this win. Well, not deserves this win. He's going to get this win. The Packers own the Bears, and I expect this trend to continue.
All right, so I'm the only person who picked the Bears. And I've been going through the whole season talking about how much I can't stand the Bears. I find this very interesting, but I know a lot of people are Packers fans, and like Joe, who did pick the Packers, mind you, it's Aaron Rodgers fans. Let's see what's going to happen on Sunday. Giants and Skins play on Thursday, prime time, NFL Thursday Night Football, and everybody but Eddie picked the Washington Redskins. The Washington Redskins looked pretty impressive in their loss to the Philadelphia Eagles last week. The Buffalo Bills traveled to Houston to face the Texans, and everybody picked the Texans except for me. Once again, the lone man out, I decided that Buffalo was probably going to take that victory out there in Houston. Let's talk about the Carolina Panthers, who coming off a crushing, embarrassing defeat against the Pittsburgh Steelers last week as they traveled to Baltimore to face the Ravens.
Ravens are not a good team to me. They suck, plain and simple. I think Carolina is going to redeem themselves with a victory here. I'm going with the Panthers here.
Personally, me, I would like to go with Carolina, and I would like to believe that Cam Newton's going to be able to pull this one off. But I honestly did see something about Ben Roethlisberger. He was playing more like Ben Roethlisberger last week in their game, and their win against who they played against last week.
The Pittsburgh Steelers?
Yes.
They beat the Carolina Panthers, the team we're talking about.
Oh. No, but so who they playing this week?
Well, the Carolina Panthers have played the Baltimore Ravens, and Alex here picked the Panthers.
Carolina.
Yeah, Carolina.
So we're talking about Carolina.
We're talking about Carolina and the Baltimore Ravens.
Right? Yeah. Well, Carolina did come off a crushing defeat against Pittsburgh, so I don't. Their momentum is not really where it needs to be, and I feel like Baltimore, Joe Flacco is gonna come in and own that right quick. So I'm gonna go with Baltimore.
I do believe that Carolina's defense was exposed by the Pittsburgh Steelers with the quick outs and really just running the ball down their throats. That's something that I know that their defense prides themselves on stopping. And just pretty much they're going to get a second week at that because Pittsburgh and Baltimore have similar hard-nosed styles. I do think with Steve Smith coming in, bringing in all the hype that both teams need, that Carolina's going to turn it around and win one against Baltimore.
I'm
Unbiased, totally. Carolina is a dejected team. They got their butts handed to them by the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's nothing to be ashamed of. I mean, we're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers here, 6-time world champions, possibly the next Super Bowl champions this year. And I think Carolina's a very good team. They would just, face a superior Pittsburgh Steelers team. That being said, they'll also face a superior Baltimore Ravens team who should, since they were able to defeat the Pittsburgh Steelers, beat the Carolina Panthers in easy fashion on Sunday. So I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens myself.
I say Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore Ravens rarely lose at M&T Bank Field, and I expect that trend to continue. I think it's going to be a bum off because I think the Panthers and both the Ravens underperform offensively, and I think just the fact that the Baltimore Ravens are at home, they're going to win. Plain and simple.
All right, well, there you go. See what happens when the Panthers face Baltimore. Hopefully the Panthers won't lose 2 in a row. But like I said, there was nothing shameful to lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Tennessee Titans face the Indianapolis Colts this week, and all of us believe that the Indianapolis Colts should pick up their second victory come Sunday, and I feel sorry for Tennessee in that game. Speaking of the Pittsburgh Steelers, they host a game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and everybody made the wise decision to pick the Pittsburgh Steelers to defeat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Obviously, a no-brainer there, right? Wow.
What just happened?
Amazing. Joe just appeared out of nowhere. That's good because we're about to talk about some games. You missed the Panthers game. We were going to talk about it after their crushing defeat against the Pittsburgh Steelers last week. All right. You remember that game, Phil. Detroit.
No, I don't.
I wouldn't want to remember that if I was a Panther fan, too. Detroit travels to New York in MetLife Stadium to face the Jets. Alex, how do you think this is going to fare between the Lions and the Jets?
Look, Matt Stafford's going to have a good game throwing it to Calvin Johnson. I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions on this one. They got this hands down.
I feel that the Jets should have some slight of a chance depending on who they're going to decide to start. Hopefully they get that bum Geno Smith out of there and put Michael Vick in there. But until that happens, I do not see the Jets picking up even one single win. So I will definitely go with Calvin Johnson, Matt Stafford, and the Detroit Lions.
I'm going to go with Detroit too, but I'm not going to knock on the Jets as bad as I've been hearing because for all intents and purposes, they've been playing pretty well. They did lose to Chicago, but they knocked out both of their starting wide receivers. So that, if anything, they're showing that they have Rex Ryan's physicality on defense. There's still some growing pains with the offense, but what do you expect with Geno Smith manning the helm? I don't think he's done enough to lose his job to Michael Vick, so I still expect to see him on the field, but I do think Detroit's going to win.
I actually like the Jets. not to win this game, but I like that team. Yeah, they got a really good defense. Good front seven, Muhammad Wilkerson, and those boys, as Stephen A. Smith says. And they're a good team, but I don't think they can keep up. I mean, I hope my boy, I can't even remember his name, Chris Ivory, can score a few touchdowns, but
See in your
my
fantasy
fantasy
league?
team, but no, they just can't keep up. They're just not going to be able to keep up with the Lions, in my opinion. Matthew Stafford is a dumb quarterback, but he'll get it done today. I mean, not today, but on Sunday. So, Detroit.
All right, looks like I'm going to be the odd man out until we hear from Rodgers. I'm going to go with the New York Jets, which surprises everybody, including me. New York Jets have not shown me anything. I think Geno Smith is one of the worst quarterbacks in the league, however, if not the. However, he was team overall, showed me something on Monday in their loss to Chicago, and I think they have enough to defeat the Detroit Lions, who's also a very good team, but I don't think they're going to consistently be good enough to really make a playoff contendency. That being said, I can see this game going the other way, but I'm going to go with the New York Jets to win this one.
I'm going to agree with Mr. Chris here
Smart move.
and say the Jets, because the Jets are really not a bad team. Geno Smith is really not a bad quarterback. I don't know what kind of football y'all been watching, but Geno Smith been pretty solid.
I've been watching games on Sunday.
Had a 1 or 2, bad interceptions. But other than that, he's been moving the ball down the field, been pretty consistent. Even at the end of last year, he was one of the top rated quarterbacks within the last 4 games of the season. He's progressing. He still needs some more weapons, don't get him wrong. He still don't have that number 1 receiver, so you can't blame everything on him. I got the Jets.
I can agree with that.
All right, well, let's see what happens on Sunday with that one, too. Let's go with Miami facing the Oakland Raiders, and everybody picked Miami to defeat Oakland except for Phil and Eddie. They picked the Oakland Raiders to pick up their first victory on Sunday against the Miami Dolphins of all teams. It's a strange pick, but
well, Chris, they showed me something playing against New England. Seeing how Tom Brady cost me $422.
So this is personal?
No, nothing personal. I'm just saying, even though Tom Brady didn't play to the expectancy that he was expected to play.
Expectancy.
But, I do think that Derek Carr is a good quarterback, and I think he'll be able to get it done.
That's great for that in-depth analysis, Eddie. Let's see. We got Jacksonville going to San Diego, and sorry, Jacksonville, no one here thinks that you're going to beat San Diego on Sunday. Let's talk about a game that's going to be really important. I know somebody here at this table. We're going to talk about the New Orleans Saints versus the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas is at home, and
That's supposed to be next.
well, it's going to be next today. Dallas is at home hosting against the New Orleans Saints.
Look, plain and simple.
He got some energy into him.
Dallas is going to
Speak
take this
England
game
now.
simply because they're Dallas. Yeah.
Articulate as always, Eddie. Dallas and New Orleans.
I'm gonna pick Dallas. Unbiased, but I'm gonna pick Dallas. As long as Tony Romo and DeMarco Murray can cut out their turnovers, I think they will be able to get it done. They've shown that they can come back from a deficit, even though it was against St. Louis, which is not too much of a great football team. And on top of that, Dallas is also at home, so I will definitely go with Dallas.
I'm going to pick Dallas simply because
Don't let it hurt you.
New Orleans just doesn't fare well away from the Superdome. Even though this is still a dome, they should play well. Something about not being in Louisiana brings down their quality of play pretty well. I mean, pretty badly. Somewhere I heard that Tony Romo was hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So
He didn't play. He didn't practice for 2 weeks because of his back.
2 weeks he played last month, so he's playing. Yeah, Dallas is gonna win this game.
You look really hurt by saying that, Phil. I'm sorry.
Hey Phil, you breaking a sweat there, man. You sure? You sure about that? You don't want to
I'm
switch?
really not.
I thought it was the lighting. All right, so we got Cowboys again. Joe, we're on you.
Yeah, man, it should be a pretty big game. It's probably gonna be the highest rated game of the week, honestly. But yeah, I don't think the Cowboys are gonna win. Again, it's another issue of just keeping up with them scoring. The one that hasn't even looked that good, honestly, even last week at home. But it doesn't matter. They're gonna win this game. The Saints had a Cowboys number, so Drew Brees is Drew Brees.
Well, I can say that Joe, who was number one last week, tied with Phil, and is number one overall. That's a bold pick. You're the only one at this table, I'm pretty sure, even though we didn't get to Mr. Rogers here, that's going to pick the Saints. I'm actually going to pick the Cowboys. And that's simply because of the fact they are playing at Cowboys Stadium. I don't think New Orleans' firepower is good enough to keep up with Dallas, who's definitely trying to fight for that number 2 spot in the NFC East for that wild card position. And they have a very good chance. I think Washington's improved. Therefore, it is not going to be as easy. Sorry about the Giants fans out there, but y'all suck. So, Cowboys should take this. Do they have a possibility to lose? Yeah, they're the Dallas Cowboys. Tony Romo is still one of the most inconsistent quarterbacks I've ever seen. He can screw up a game faster than some people's sex lives, but we'll see how it goes. I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys. Rogers, who do you have, I wonder?
What a conundrum. How about them Cowboys? Cowboys gonna win. Let me tell you why. Because Cowboys are one of the greatest teams in the NFC.
We're not biased.
That's just an opinion.
Okay.
Just glad we have some.
They have the second best record in the whole
Okay.
entire NFL. And ever since Darren Sproles left the New Orleans Saints, it took away some of their.
Where did he go?
He went to the lowly Philadelphia Eagles because they needed the desperation since Deshaun Jackson.
The undefeated Philadelphia Eagles.
Yes,
Okay.
the currently
All right.
undefeated.
All right, go ahead.
Struggle with the lowly
That's
Redskins.
Struggle
Yeah, the Cowboys have one of the most dynamic offenses in the NFL. It's hard to stop. So if the Saints can't keep up with them, it's going to be hard. Mark Ingram is not quite elusive as Darren Sproles. So DeMarco Murray, Dez Bryant, Chase Wood, Tony Romo, get it done, baby.
You know, of all the teams and the games we've talked about, this is the one you talked about the longest.
Why? Because it's Cowboys in prime time.
Okay, well,
Highest rated
speaking
games
of prime
in the
time
entire
games,
NFL.
on Monday, New England travels to Kansas City to face the Chiefs, and this one was kind of split down the middle. Eddie, Alex, and Phil picked the Chiefs, where myself, Rogers, and Joel picked the New England Patriots. That should be a very interesting game. I can't wait for that one. That should be a good primetime game. Also, we have the Atlanta Falcons versus the Minnesota Vikings, and everybody picked the Atlanta Falcons to face to defeat the Minnesota Vikings Sunday afternoon. So that should also be a good game. Hopefully, Atlanta might walk away with that, but I don't think they'll have as tough, easiest game as they did last Thursday. The final game we're going to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, is one undefeated team, the Philadelphia Eagles, travel west to San Francisco to face the 49ers. Alex, how do you see this game going?
I'm gonna take the 49ers on this one simply because Eagles the Eagles are a good team. They're undefeated. I understand that, but it's a fluke. You know, they haven't really played anybody. So 49ers defense, hopefully they'll step up and stop that offense. I'm gonna go with the 49ers on this one.
I'm also going to go with the 49ers. I'm kind of hoping that Colin Kaepernick can finally shut everybody up as badly as they've been talking about him. We cannot forget that he also has Crabtree and Frank Gore, which are two big weapons and two of the biggest weapons in the NFL. So I'm kind of hoping that the 49ers will be able to pull this win off against the Philadelphia Eagles.
I want to pick Philadelphia, but I'm going to go with San Francisco only because there's no way you can start off in a brand new stadium 0-3. And with the offense that they have, knowing Philadelphia's penchant for letting leads go early in the game and coming back and winning in the fourth quarter, this San Francisco offense should be able to keep a lead, and this defense needs to step up, especially San Francisco's secondary. Need to step up and prove that they've been the 49ers we've seen the last couple of seasons. Hopefully they get it going this game coming up.
The 49ers are going to win this game. This is a must-win for them. The Eagles are due a loss. Surprising when last week with LaShawn McCoy getting 22 yards on 20 carries. That's not going to happen 2 weeks in a row. So if he sucks again like that, I don't know if it was a concussion or what, but he was garbage last week. So if he's garbage again, they're going to lose. Especially, the 49ers need this win.
Turn it to the Darren Sproles show.
So
They definitely do need LaShawn McCoy to
Number 1 draft
pull
pick
something
too.
out of him. So
Most of fantasy leagues. Sad. Bum.
I'm going to go to Philadelphia Eagles.
Oh,
Shocker! Let me tell you why I'm going to go to Philadelphia Eagles. Not only are they the most spectacular, dynamic, awesome, wonderful, great team in the league, let me explain to you that the San Francisco 49ers have not been doing well at all. Yes, they have a brand new stadium, but let's be serious. They're 0-2 in that stadium. And they're playing the Philadelphia Eagles.
Repeating everything.
Not to mention the fact that second half, they're the 31st worst offense in the NFL. Who's number 1 in the second half? Wow. It's the Philadelphia Eagles, who was the first team in history to go be behind 10 points in 3 games and come back and win. They also have the number 1 offense, number 1 in passing, number 1 in scoring. They are the best team in the league. The only team that can compete with them is 21st. The only team that can compete with them is the Cincinnati Bengals. I give you that. However, the San Francisco defense cannot keep up with the Philadelphia Eagles offense. And the reason how come Philadelphia Eagles defense is so low is simply because of the fact they're on the field more than any other defense in the NFL because their offense is so dynamic and quick in scoring. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a no-brainer. The Eagles will definitely defeat the 49ers. I don't understand how these biased people, and they are just biased against the Philadelphia Eagles. And they're going to be disappointed. I'm glad they picked the 49ers. I'm glad your little Cowboy and Panther, how did they win last week? And the Redskins, we know how they did. I know how biased y'all are and how y'all going to say it.
You mad, bro? Shut up and get it going.
No, because I need y'all to understand.
I'm sorry.
I need y'all to understand that there's no way
we
that the
talked
49ers...
about
Time, nigga, cut this out.
4 other matches, and this.
Anyway, I'm going with the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday. Rogers,
really?
who you got?
I picked the 49ers.
Shocker.
And let me tell you why. For most teams, the 49ers are going to dominate both sides, offense and defensive line. And now Philly has a depleted offensive line. Now they're not going to be able to do
You can't even make it make sense.
They're not going to be able to use all screens. See, 49ers, they know how to play some defense.
Do that.
So
That's
if you
not
let
what
the-
a record shows.
If you let the 49ers get ahead of you by a certain amount of points, unlike the other bums they played,
The Colts are bumps. The Redskins are arguably a top 7 team in the NFC right now.
top 17
Top 7. I'll say 7 because I'll give them number 7.
bums. Anyway,
I have a feeling if they were at home,
49ers
they would beat the Cowboys.
the 49ers going to dominate both sides around the front.
Okay.
And they're going to run the ball down the Eagles' throat. Eagles, how do they get down so much? They don't have a good defense, okay?
No, because
Okay,
they
so
know
they're gonna-
that they need to rest their players for the
Even
second half.
though
of the
Colin
overall.
Kaepernick is a fraud, he's still going to do enough to lead 49ers to victory. I'm sorry you're so biased and you will
I'm not
Eagles
biased.
to win.
I'm not biased.
Yes, you
I'm
are.
completely unbiased. I just don't understand how you all, as supposed amateur analysts, because that's what we are, amateur analysts, can sit here and tell me that y'all expect the San Francisco 49ers to beat the Philadelphia Eagles. It makes absolutely no sense to me.
I think there's 2 other.
This is why I'm going to win
games we
this
have
week.
to talk about?
No, the games are over. That was it. That was the last game. So,
Oh, damn.
ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate your attendance watching this video, all 24 of your views, which 4 of them will be from us. And
that's pretty good.
and we're getting there. Last week it was like 12. We doubled our views. It's because of you.
You like it?
Thank you. And
like
we
it.
think that one of the reasons is because our second segment that we have coming up. So after this brief message from our sponsor, Jack Daniels, we're going to come up with the second segment where we talk about
Drink responsibly.
undefeated teams. There's 3 of
Single
them.
barrel.
Which
Jack
team
Daniels.
is most likely to be defeated first between Philadelphia, Arizona, and Cincinnati? So stay tuned. For
Welcome to another segment of Dynasty. What was it? Dynasty Pick.
Welcome back, and unfortunately, we were going to talk about which of the undefeated teams we were going to think was going to lose first. However, we came to consensus, reluctantly, that the Philadelphia Eagles, since they're the only ones that want to have a bye this Sunday,
That's
and
not
everybody
right.
picked. Everybody, oh yes, realistically speaking, if the other two teams have a bye and Philadelphia does not, they play, and y'all all think for some reason that's beyond me, but they think that the Philadelphia Eagles are going to lose, then y'all think Philadelphia is going to be the first team. Now, personally, I think y'all wrong. I think it's the Arizona Cardinals. Why? Because in Week 7 they played the Philadelphia Eagles, but that's me. All right, so anyway, the bottom line is now we're going to talk about our picks of the top 3, not particular order, quarterbacks in the NFL currently up until Week 4 coming up on Sunday. So, Eddie, we're going to start off with you. Who do you think are the top 3 quarterbacks that have been performing well this? Yes, go ahead and look at the pad of the teams that have been performing well this season.
Personally, me, I will start off with Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck hasn't really they really haven't been winning too much, but Andrew Luck has always been consistent at playing his position, and he's always going to be consistent at playing his position so long as he doesn't get a major injury or anything like that. But the most easiest one for me, I think I'm really thinking Andy Dalton is doing his own little thing out there in Cincinnati. He's doing big things. So far his team is undefeated, and I think they're going to hopefully keep that for at least another 2 weeks after this bye week anyways. And someone who never falls behind, I'm definitely going to say Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning's always going to be a threat in the NFL, and he's one of the best in the NFL and definitely a legend. So I really don't got much to say besides Peyton Manning after that. There's not much you can really say about him.
Alright. We'll go with Peyton Manning. He kind of had me scared for him for a while until he showed that he could still bring his team back in a very hostile environment, which he did in Seattle. They just barely lost that one, so I think that's good signs for them. Andy Dalton has been a surprise for the first quarter of the season. He mainly surprised me with the gadget plays him and Mohamed Sanu can do. Sanu is a pretty decent gadget quarterback coming out that wide receiver position. And keep throwing it to Andy Dalton, who jumped in front of a cornerback to make a catch for a touchdown. Sky's the limit for him. And my third one, I'm going to go, until he proves me otherwise, Nick Foles. For no conventional wisdom at all, I look at this man play, and I see these air duck balls that should be intercepted, and they're going to wide open receivers. I don't understand what defense haven't read from last year to this year to cut that off yet. But until they do, Nick Foles is my third quarterback.
Nick Foles is a strong one. Nick Foles is definitely a strong one.
I was actually surprised by that Andy Dalton pick. Not because he's not the best quarterback, but because I was going to put him in my top 3 simply because he's 3-0. And yeah, that was going to be my little wild card pick that nobody had, but I guess I was wrong. And second pick, I'm going to go with Nick Foles. He's 3-0 as well. He's I would have said he showed a lot of heart until he cried after the game, after that legal hit that he was
that perfect legal
that
hit.
he was that he cried about after the game. But other than that, he is a top 3 quarterback this season. And my new surprise
I'm
pick.
just trying to figure out, do we see that? How is that legal hit? I mean, I know NFL to be.
Come on. And my surprise pick is a guy who I think he ranks about 4th in the league in passer rating and leads the league in yards per game because he actually missed a game, but still leads several quarterbacks, including Tony Romo, in passing yards after 2 games, is Kirk Cousins.
It's not clutch.
And so, yeah, that's my top 3. And I just gave you the reasons why.
I can't disagree with him. I think Kirk Cousins is going to be a spectacular quarterback. I think he's possibly the answer for Washington being number 2 in the NFC East.
That's it.
Oh, I thought you were going here.
I did say that.
Okay. My first one is Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning is he just keeps performing year after year after year. And actually, had he had his chance against Seattle, he probably would have won the game in overtime because he just came through in the clutch. But unfortunately, he didn't get that chance. Number 2 is Tony Romo. Because Tony Romo, even though he hasn't had the most flawless games. He's clutch. He comes through time after time.
He was real clutch against the Rams.
Yes, he was very clutch. Thank you.
He was.
I love your co-signage. And thirdly, I will have to pick Phillip Rivers. He's just a great quarterback. He beat the lowly Seattle Seahawks. And those are my top 3 right there.
You know, if I can interject real quick, I'm surprised you didn't pick Aaron Rodgers. I was expecting to hear that.
That is very accurate.
Just like I'm surprised you didn't pick
I'm
Cam Newton.
disappointed.
He's playing hurt.
He's not hurt. Disappointed.
Of course, for me, Peyton Manning has to be up there. Peyton Manning's the man. He's the man. Plain and simple. I'm going to go with Matt Ryan. Anyways, he's winning games for me in fantasy football, in case y'all didn't know that. Matt Ryan's up there. And my third one's probably going to have to be Nick Foles. Unfortunately. That's it.
Why is that unfortunate?
Don't worry about
Nick
it.
Foles. Wow. That's surprising.
Yeah, so it's Phil
Because he's
Rivers.
not that great.
All right. Anyway, so let's go with my top 3. Once again, not in any particular order. Number 1, I'm going to go with Nick Foles. I think Nick Foles has proven to be one of the premier quarterbacks in the league right now. He's definitely knows how to come back and win games, and that's what makes you a good quarterback, is you know how to win games, like he did against the Washington Redskins last week. So I have to say that Nick Foles is going to be a very good elite quarterback sooner or later. Number 2 is Geno Smith. Just kidding. Number 2, I'm going to go with Matt Ryan also. I've been impressed with Matt Ryan, and I have never been impressed with him before, but he's definitely shown me something this season. Not even just with last Thursday's game, but his first game of the season, I thought he was like spectacular too. So, Matt Ryan, you know, you've earned some respect, and you're definitely in top 3. And number 3 is going to be none other than Russell Wilson. I'm not exactly a big Russell Wilson fan. I wanted to pick Peyton Manning, but
You know that's all about.
Wilson.
that was not all over. I know.
I would replace
That's
Russell Wilson
that's
with
a
Nick
solid
Foles,
pick.
actually.
I know it's a
That's
solid
a very
pick. I think
solid
Russell
pick.
Wilson has definitely been a top 3 quarterback.
Russell Wilson
Just
is
barely above Peyton Manning.
I know one viewer that's happy.
Russell Wilson is one of, is a consistent. Russell Wilson is consistent, and he's also one of those flawless quarterbacks that really rarely makes a mistake. And
Yeah, your time.
when he runs it hard,
Thank you for proving my point, Eddie. That's exactly what I was going to say. And screw you, Phil. That's not what I picked Russell Wilson.
Yeah, okay.
But Russell Wilson, in Seattle, you know, he's
Can I change mine? I just want to change Nick Foles and put Russell Wilson up there.
no, we don't. You said your top
I'm
3.
gonna knock Nick
No.
Foles out and put Russell Wilson up there. Thank you. Thank
Well,
you.
if that's the case, actually, I forgot that I would put Andrew Luck over Phillip Rivers. Because Andrew Luck is the top quarterback in the league right now. Believe it or not. Peyton Manning's not even up there right now.
he's a great
But
quarterback.
Peyton Manning,
Got
I'm
me
giving him
3-0
more of a
in my
Lifetime
fantasy.
Achievement Award. But it's actually Andrew Luck, Tony Romo, and Peyton Manning.
Well, in that case, that's the case. We're going to do that. Then I'm going to take out Matt Ryan. I'm going to put Ben Roethlisberger in there, because Ben Roethlisberger has been a very good quarterback this season. I mean, his game against the Carolina Panthers this week.
The
has
one
been-
game that they won.
They have actually won 2 games.
You're right.
Thank you very much.
But,
What? Right.
has he raped anybody yet?
Wow, that joke's getting just as old as that accusation. Okay, so bottom line though is no, I'm gonna actually stick with my 3. I'm not going to take Matt Ryan out. That's my legitimate 3: Nick Foles, Matt Ryan, and Russell Wilson. I just think they've been spectacular. I think there's been some good honorable names up there. I think Andy Dalton's a good choice. Peyton Manning's. I mean, honestly, if I built any team floor up, I would still pick him as my quarterback. So. Peyton Manning, and who else has impressed me? Tony Romo was pretty impressive last week. I still would never pick him as a quarterback, but he impressed me last week. And I think Kirk Cousins is definitely up there. I think once he leaves the Washington Redskins, his career is going to be like sky's the limit. I mean, great. I mean, what do you think? I think the Redskins hold him back. But anyway, with that being said, Alex, final thoughts? Sorry.
Russell Wilson over Nick Foles. Final thought.
Kirk Cousins doesn't have that clutch gene. That's why he would never be in my top 3.
Clutch is very important to you.
Exactly. Because it's not about how you start, but how you finish.
That's true. That's what she said.
And if you finish with interceptions?
Kirk Cousins couldn't close that game out. He played good that whole time, but when it really mattered, he couldn't make the necessary throws.
You know a quarterback
And they were
that
pretty
always
good.
closes the game out? That's why they're 3-0?
Oh.
Nick Foles. Joe, final thoughts.
I was gonna rebut Roger's statement a little bit because I thought it was interesting coming from a Tony Romo fan.
The best fourth quarter performer since 06 he came in the league. He has the most comeback wins.
He also has
Since he came in there.
throwaways.
I mean,
What
that's
about
what we're talking about.
those playoffs? What about those times when they need to go to the playoffs?
It doesn't make him perfect, but he still had more than any other one, any other quarterback. Y'all can look that up whenever y'all want. All my viewers, y'all can look that up too.
Both
Tony
of them
Romo,
say hi.
number
Sure.
one.
My main point is, I predict that you heard it here first. After the Giants get their ass whooped, 34-17 this week by the Redskins.
By more than 6.
Tom Coughlin, by more than 6, Tom Coughlin will be fired by no later than week 10. You heard it here first.
That is a bold prediction. I'm going to write that one down.
Final thought. We some biased ass analysts, people.
Speak for yourself. I'm very unbiased.
Yeah, and King Hop on is.
I don't
trying
think
to
Nick Foles has
defend
ever had
case.
his dick sucked as much as today, damn it.
He has a wife, and I am not. I don't hop on anything.
We are some very biased ones. It's what keeps the comedy going.
Napoleon
I don't know why he
Dynamite.
keeps trying to deny it. One of you I know. Yeah, we know. Okay. 2. No coach that gives you 2 Super Bowl rings is going to get fired by week 10. Just my rebuttal to that. And 3. Peace. Love. And all that other bullshit.
And go Carolina.
Final thoughts.
I'm biased.
I really don't have any final thoughts.
Shocker.
Just hoping that this season is, that this week goes as well as last week. I didn't come out in last place, so I'm good with that.
You were darn close.
Yeah. Very. But not this week. Definitely Chris is going to be last place, but okay.
Well, I had some spectacular picks. I got Chicago over Green Bay here. That's going to get me the victory. I got the Buffalo Bills beating the Houston Texans. That's going to give me the victory. And the final nail in y'all coffin is I have the surefire bet. And you can check Las Vegas stats, Mr. Stat people. But Philadelphia over the San Francisco 49ers.
What's some Chiefs to go with that one?
I would, actually.
Alright, I got you.
Okay, well, anyway.
Magical words. I got you.
Another wonderful week. Let's see who comes out on top. I know some people are at the bottom trying to climb their way. Alex, Eddie. And I have other people who are still trying to start off there doing solid, but they're not going to do solid this week, I don't think, anyway. So,
Thank you
whatever.
for joining us.
Exactly. So, for Eddie, Phil, Joe, Alex, Rogers, and myself, thanks for watching again this week. We'll see you next week for another edition of NFL Dynasty Madness.